Let's jump right in, shall we? Heavy manufacturing facilities are seriously intense environments. I mean, think about it. Building earth-moving equipment or massive industrial turbines, that requires navigating two huge intersecting forces: crazy high energy consumption and incredibly high-stakes workforce safety. So today, in this explainer, we're going to use the SASB standards for industrial machinery as our map. And we're pulling back the curtain on these internal operational risks. Okay, here's our agenda for the tour. We'll start inside the factory walls, then look at powering the production line, navigating the energy mix, danger on the floor, tracking the near misses, and finally, the operational bottom line. Section 1. Inside the factory walls. Now, we aren't just guessing at what matters inside these massive facilities. We are looking directly at the official SASB Standards Disclosure Table. This is the exact sustainability-related financial metrics data that investors actually use. And right at the top, energy management and workforce health and safety. These absolutely aren't just secondary, nice-to-have concerns. They are literally the primary drivers of a manufacturer's cost structure and their overall operational stability. Section 2. Powering the production line. So for this industry, energy is definitely not just some standard utility bill. It is the ultimate critical input. Purchased electricity represents the absolute largest share of energy expenditure here, and that's followed closely by purchased fuels. Because these facilities are doing things like casting metal parts and assembling just massive equipment, the sheer volume of energy they consume dictates their baseline cost of production, and that makes them super vulnerable to grid pricing and supply fluctuations. Which brings us to Section 3, navigating the energy mix. Because these manufacturers are consuming literally millions of gigajoules, how they actually source that power turns into a massive strategic puzzle. Grid electricity is the standard, sure, but a company's specific energy mix directly influences their supply reliability and their regulatory exposure. And there's a really important nuance here that the SASB standard points out. Claiming renewable energy requires explicit documentation. We're talking about retaining renewable energy certificates, or RECs. You can't just claim the renewable portion of your local grid and call it a day. It requires deliberate, certified procurement or self-generated power where those certificates are retired directly on the company's behalf. All right, let's step onto the factory floor for Section 4, danger on the floor. Shifting our focus away from the power grid and onto the human element, the physical risks here are just intense. We're talking heavy machinery, moving equipment everywhere, and severe electrical hazards. The daily routine for these workers involves navigating spaces where a single momentary lapse in protocol can result in serious injury. So establishing a really proactive safety culture here, it's not just some HR initiative, it is absolutely a core operational necessity. Section 5. Tracking the near misses. To understand how management actually tracks all these hazards, we have to look at the denominator, which is 200,000. So, what is this number? Well, this is the baseline mathematical formula used for standardizing safety incident rates across the entire industry. It represents the total hours that 100 full-time workers provide annually. It's essentially the great equalizer. It lets investors take the safety records of a massive global conglomerate and compare them directly against a smaller regional manufacturer on a strict apples-to-apples basis. Now, obviously, tracking total injuries and fatalities is required, but tracking the near-miss frequency rate, or NMFR, that is where the real insight lives. I like to think of this as the iceberg technique. Fatalities and severe injuries, those are just the visible tip of the iceberg. But near misses, those unplanned events that didn't result in harm but easily could have, those reveal the true hidden depths of a company's safety culture. And this brilliantly illustrates the strategic value of safety data. By really rigorously classifying those near misses, management can step in and intervene before a major accident actually happens. Robust incident reporting proactively reduces costly litigation and healthcare expenses, which in turn guarantees minimal work disruption. Basically, a safe floor is, by definition, a highly productive floor. Section 6. The operational bottom line. To bring this all together, that safety data we just talked about must be comprehensive to actually mean anything. The SASB standard explicitly mandates that companies have to report these rates for both direct employees and contract employees. Basically, if the entity manages your work, you are included in the TRIR, fatality, and NMFR rates. A company absolutely cannot hide its safety issues by outsourcing hazardous labor to third-party temp agencies or independent contractors. And that ensures we get a transparent reflection of the true operational reality on the factory floor. So the critical takeaway from all of this is that successfully navigating internal operational risks translates directly into tangible corporate resilience. Whether you're optimizing a massive energy load to protect your cost structures or meticulously reporting near misses to protect human life, these aren't just checking boxes for compliance. They are the fundamental pillars of a heavy manufacturer's bottom line. Which leaves us with this final thought. In an era where industrial output requires both massive physical machinery and incredibly intense power demands, how effectively is your organization balancing the ultimate value of its human capital with its need for critical energy resilience? It's a really complex equation, but the data always tells the story. Keep asking the right questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.